Hi class, my name is Wahida and today I will be teaching one of the HAP 752 Teach 1 assignment, and the topic of today is how to download or import data in SQL and then use some of the basic function of SQL. So we're going to create a new database and then we're going to import files into SQL. The first step is to click on the database and then new database to create a new database, and then you're gonna name it once it's open to whatever you want to name it. So I'm gonna name this one Teach One. And I do not want to have a space in between, because sometimes when you pull the table or from the database, if you have a space, then you have to put parentheses. So that for that reason, I'm not going to add any space in between the database name. And then we're going to save it. And the second step is to import data. So we're using Excel database. So I'm going to create I'm going to click on the new database that I created, and then I'm going to use the wizard task and then the import wizard to import data. I'm going to click next, and then I will pull this source. So usually that should be flat, so I'm going to pick that one as a flat source. Next, and then I'm going to browse my file, and we have to click all files, and so I'm going to click on the claims. Next. So once my data is imported, we're gonna click next, and that should, I'm not sure why it's giving me error. So I changed the destination to Microsoft Excel, and then pick my file from there, and then I will want to copy, and then I want to create claims, and I want to run it right away. So, and once this run, everything is successful, so my data is imported successfully. So why we use SQL? It's a basic way to retrieve data using codes, and also manipulate data, and also combine tables, or bring the data from one table to another table to do statistic analysis using SQL function. Some of the basic function of SQL is select, from, or they also call clauses. That select and from is mandatory, and also there's some other optional clauses that can be used, such as where. So if you want to bring something from a table where a value is equal certain number or a value, then you can say where. And then you can also group by, and then having. It's only applied for SQL statement that contains aggregated function, and it specifies condition that summarize fields that we must satisfy, and then order by. It also specifies how to sort the data or bring the data result at the end of when we run the query. So here's a basic example of using queries. So for example, if you want to see the data in a table, you just right click on it, and you always can run the select top 1000, and then it will bring the data, and you will see what kind of data is in the table. So I'm using one of the tables that I created for likelihood ratio for Alzheimer's. So that's what I'm presenting, and we'll be using this data to use some of the basic functions. So here is a very basic example of selected statement. So we're selecting everything from the DBU Easy Clean 8A table, where I want to pull all the data that is on that table in the column for patient number 521987. And once we execute this one, all patient data with this record will be populating. So that is one of the basic of SQL clauses. Another cool thing about SQL is when we combining table, as I stated at the beginning, we can join or merge the tables together, and there are different type of join. Their inner join, where you bring the result that is in the condition is true, and if no true, then we do not want to see the data. So everything that kind of match the data from table A to table B, then it will be combined. The inner join. The left join, then we bring all data from table A to table B, and then the right join is the same, but it will be on the left side and the right side. And also I will show one example how to create a new table from existing table, where you drop, as we have done this a lot in the class, drop data from, combine them, and then drop them to and create them a new table, to which that make it easier. Especially we kind of use that when we were cleaning data. And this little graph, it kind of explains the difference between the left join, right join, and inner join. So that is something that is very useful and cool tool to use. So here is an example of the left join, where we're combining the two tables that I created and dropping it to a new table, calling it data, where from table A we bring it to table B, and then we combining the two ID, where the two ID matching, and then we bringing the data together, where BID is null. So that will be an example of joining left join. So aggregated function of SQL, you have to just keep in mind that the order of clause is very important. So it has to be in order of select, from, where, group by, and having, or order by. And then the aggregated function that we are gonna go through them. It will be how to count data, how to use the average function, or clause, minimum and max, as it shows on this example. So you kind of select summary of the column, and it's going to be as alias of total salary, and then average, minimum, max, and then where you want the data to be coming from. So from the table that you want to pick the data, and then do the calculation. So the second function that we're going to go over of the clauses of SQL will be how to count, and that's the very easiest. You just say select count and which table. So once we run or execute this one, it will just give us $1. So we have about 31 million records in the easy clean table. The next one, I will calculate the average. So we're just gonna say again, select the statement or clause average. We want to know the age at time of diagnosis from the same table of easy clean 8. So we will run this one or execute this query, and then it should bring us the average age at DX, which the patient that had the average age with at the time of the diagnosis first Alzheimer, it's 76.16. So that's the average age. And same with minimum and maximum. So once you put the same, select minimum age at DX from the same table, it will give us the minimum age is 65, and if we want to know the maximum age, we're just gonna say max age at DX, and it will should bring us the result. So the maximum age of patient with Alzheimer is 100. So that it will bring us the data from the table. And also, if you want to bring this one and say as max age, so when it will bring the query, once it run and bring, it will give a name to the column. So max age at DX or max age. This is a better way to do it. So then once if you save the data, then you would know what that result is. So that concludes my presentation for Teach 1. Thank you so much for listening, and if you have any question, you can always send me an email through the Gmail account. Thank you.